Joined now in the studio by Anielle Franco da Silva, whose sister Marielle Franco was shot dead in Brazil in March this year. Good evening to you, and thank you very much for joining us here on France 24.
Thank you.
First of all, your sister, she was a human rights advocate and a city councillor in Rio de Janeiro. Tell us, first of all, a little bit about her work and what the latest is on the investigation to find out who her killers were.
Right. Good evening, everyone. Marielle, she got elected in 2016. She was working as a human rights defender for 10 years with a very famous councilman in Rio de Janeiro. But they fought against the abuse of police, human rights in the slums, and minorities in general. And she just got killed 7 months ago, and I have no answer at all from the government about the investigation.
And it seems now we really can't ignore the very latest context of what's happening in Brazil. That's the election of Jair Bolsonaro. Now, your sister, she was an advocate for black women's rights, for the LGBT community in Brazil. You're an activist yourself. Tell me, what worries you most about his incoming administration?
That worries us that he came in public saying that he's going to exterminate every kind of activism and activists, that human rights defenders will not exist anymore, that NGOs will close, and he was like disseminate hateness around the world and around the country, and we are very scared how he got 55% of the election, you know, because it was just crazy how he messed with everybody's mind, and people think that he's going to end violence, but I think he's starting to get bigger violence now.
And when we've talked in the past about your sister's case, you've talked about the importance of resistance, of fighting publicly for answers. Do you feel the same way about this incoming government for Bolsonaro? How do people with your politics, with your vision for Brazil, how do they fight back against the ideology that he holds?
We have to come together because we have more than half of the population are black in Brazil. And he just came publicly saying that his sons were educated well enough not to date, not to be never with a black woman. Like this kind of stuff, you know, like saying that human rights defenders are going to disappear. We cannot just now leave our hands alone, and we have to fight together against that, like my sister used to do. And I'm pretty sure if she was here, she would be the first one in the front line.
And given just how nasty and racist his language has been,
yes.
What's your understanding of how it is that he managed to win 55% of the vote?
People was very tired about the last president because of corruption, you know, but now they don't realize that we are losing democracy. I mean, I know it's not right to have corruption in a government at all. That's not the right thing to do. But they just think that Bolsonaro is going to end up with homosexuals, black people, poor, and violence. And that's not true. I think he's just going to give a license to everyone to have a gun. That's what they say. They keep saying the same speech. And I think violence is going to even increase, and maybe corruption, because we have many proofs and accusations against him as well.
So you don't believe the argument that Bolsonaro ran on, which is that he's going to make Brazil a safer place?
I really don't believe. And I mean, I hope he does a great 4 years, but I don't believe how such a person can be disseminate hateness and be good to human rights and human defenders and all of that. I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
Anielle Franco da Silva talking to us there on the election of Jair Bolsonaro.